Hi, everybody. Deanna here from Hot for History, and we are going to talk about Prince Harry showing up in Vegas again right after he visits his father in the UK at Clarence House when King Charles we had just discovered last Monday that King Charles has indeed been diagnosed with cancer. What type of cancer, we do not know, but it was very much a shock to everybody because in the last couple of weeks, we've all been sort of dealing with all of this royal news that started with, Princess Catherine going into the hospital for a mysterious abdominal surgery, followed with King Charles going in for a prostate procedure, which ended up being like, oh my gosh. So now we're all like, what? And then Prince Harry shows up. Everybody's like, yay, he's going to visit his dad. He finally makes a good decision, right? Isn't that what we're all doing? And then, oh my gosh, this is what we need to talk about. He flies right back to Vegas. So I am Deanna. I am here from Hot for History. Welcome, everybody. Let me know where you're from. I'm here in Florida. We haven't even caught up on all of this royal news, this breaking royal news. And I think we all sort of were hoping for some type of reconciliation and maybe Prince Harry reaching out to his father, which everybody was happy about because it sounded like he was making a good decision. And then bam, all of a sudden he heads back to Vegas sort of as a spokesperson for the NFL, which is crazy. Welcome from Clearwater as well. I'm in the Orlando area. So anyhow, we're going to talk about this because Prince Harry and his brother, Prince William, have been estranged ever since Prince Harry, many things, left his, senior royal duties with his new wife, Meghan Markle, and then headed off to Canada, and then eventually to have an interview with Oprah and talk about secrets regarding the royal family, insinuating that they have racist tendencies. And then from there, all this drama went down. And then the Queen passes away. And then from the time that Queen Elizabeth passes away, and they're not really visiting her, and they're kind of disrespectful to her now, it's like, what? So then Spare comes out. Prior to that is this Netflix series. And now we've all been waiting with bated breath, hoping that maybe they would reconcile, and then noticing that Omid Scobie released a book as well called Endgame, which then was like pointing out in the Dutch version who were considered the royal racists. And Harry and Meghan didn't say anything. Okay, so I'm going to look at your comments. I'm expecting something fun here in Vegas. And that's the other thing. Prince Harry most likely is probably going to be at the Super Bowl tomorrow with his wife, as he has now become a spokesperson for the royal family in Vegas. If any of you have seen him in Vegas, let me know. I was wondering if he has bone cancer. There's a lot of speculation as to what type of cancer he has. A bladder cancer, could it be this, could it be that? And then it also then brings to light that Prince William could become king sooner than later. So, which means, hello, Prince Harry, sorry, I have to get my phone charger. Prince Harry, you better reconcile, because if you don't, and all of a sudden Prince William is king. I mean, Prince William is also the president of the British Association Academy of Film and Television. You would think that Harry and Meghan would want to connect with them. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of these articles for you because I really want to get your take on what you think regarding Harry being there and then not being there. So let me see what Christian has to say. It seems like cancer runs in the royal family, going back to Mary of Tech. Yeah, now, right, I was going to say that. Back in the day, the royal family were known to be serious smokers. I mean, chimneys. And so a lot of lung cancer in the family. I've made the observation and have shown you many videos of Prince Charles's chubby fingers, which could indicate some, circulation issues or whatever. Really? Okay, we're going to have to talk because I don't even know. Constipated in Sin City. We'll have to talk. So anyhow, that's we don't know what kind of cancer it is. We don't know what Kate's dealing with, although it sounds like for Kate, I mean, it could have been a mommy makeover. It could have been mommy makeover. It could have been, a hysterectomy. It could have been any of that, but we just don't know. Okay. Let me see some other comments. Okay. Prince William will be much more popular as king. Plus, most monarchs have passed down their reign to their younger children, so William wouldn't be out of place, and it might even feel more modern. I could not agree with you more. I mean, because here's the thing. I was thinking about this recently when Queen Margareta, she abdicated for her son, Prince Frederick. And I mean, wouldn't you want to, if you had been reigning like for years and years and years, of course, that's not King Charles's case, but wouldn't you want to see your child, ascend into that position? Wouldn't that be more fulfilling? I know Queen Elizabeth made a promise when she became queen that she would be there for her natural life, right? I think when King Charles became king, we were all kind of like, maybe everybody was like, maybe they should just skip right over him. And yet the man waited so long to become king that, of course, it's kind of sad, but I'm sorry, this is like a very serious thing right now, right? I do too. I love William and Kate. And then I also hope for reconciliation for the brothers, but Harry's judgment is just like, I don't know, it's off the chain. So here's the criticism right now. Okay, let me see. I like to read the comments. And my feeling was that she had the extra motivation of Charles being fairly unpopular. You mean to stay in the position, because she was the Queen Elizabeth made it look easy. I mean, she really did. She had poise and grace and the whole nine. Okay, so I am going to read. I want to get your guys' opinion. Okay, here's the question. Here's the question at hand. And then I'm going to read this article. Do you think, because I know like with me and the people who follow my lives, I usually have kind of a mixed bag. Most people they don't like Harry and Meghan, and they're sort of, I wouldn't call us monarchists, but I would say we're royal watchers. And so I want to know the scale, like your opinion on Harry going to visit his dad and then heading off to Vegas right after. So the story is that he came to the UK immediately upon finding out that his dad had cancer. And so even people who tended to be critical of him were like, great decision. Finally, could he stay there? Could this be a reconciliation? Like, what is going on? Like, could this be a really, really good thing? And so, so all of a sudden, we're all really excited. And then we hear there's this, the press is like following him. They're like, oh my gosh, he's there at Clarence house. Yay. And then apparently like anywhere between 15 minutes and like half an hour later, he's gone. The king takes off to Buckingham Palace, gets in a helicopter and heads off to, I think, Sandringham or wherever, because he's going to stay there, to get better and go through his treatments. And then Harry, the next thing you know, he's in Vegas standing on a stage making a presentation about American football versus rugby. And so then it makes you think, like, who the heck is putting him on a stage to talk about American football? So I want to know what you guys think of that whole thing with him being there. Like, was it like some people are saying, okay, this was just for appearances. In other words, if he really wanted to stay with his dad, he would have stayed with his dad, and so at first they were like, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's doing the right thing, but is he doing this just for press? Because if he showed up at, to present this Walter Payton award or whatever, would like, if he made that appearance and he hadn't gone to see his dad, it would be a bad look. Right. So now they're all saying, okay, he did the right thing and going, but now there's all these skeptics. Okay. So I want to know what you guys think. And I'm going to read some of the comments. I'm going to go scroll back up to scroll back down. Okay, so Queen Margareta was fully on board with the crowning of the rightful king of England in Australia. Okay, well, we'll have to address that another time. I could do that. I could address the secret son of Charles in private, but I can't, I don't want to go into like the whole controversy and conspiracy things there. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? Okay, well, I think I'm gonna lean toward Taylor Swift's team. Although it would be nice for the 49ers to finally win after, all that. Actually, I'm one of those fair weather Super Bowl people. I kind of just show up at the last minute. I hate to say it. Okay, I think this is what Christian says regarding Harry coming to see King Charles as he's dealing with his cancer and then going back. So Christian says, I think it's definitely a smart move on his part. The real question is, why did he go back? We really don't know what was said in the meeting between him and his dad. For real, Harry. So here's what I wonder, like, some of us, I mean, I guess out of William and Charles, honestly, I like William better. But I will say that King Charles has shown that he's really a softie when it comes to his sons, and especially Harry. Like Harry is in a position right now where he knows that his dad will do anything to see him and be with him, right? He knows that. But Harry needs to start thinking ahead, because the real reconciliation honestly has to be with his brother in the future, because even if he doesn't want that emotionally for himself, I'm going to give you my perspective. Even if he doesn't want it emotionally for himself, like it's not like, I don't really care if I'm friends with my brother. If he's as narcissistic as some people think, or if he's as self-serving as some people think and really wants his Hollywood fame or whatever, that is another reason for him to cozy up to his brother. His brother is very tight with a lot of Hollywood stuff, and many people in high places are very aware that they have to make a decision between Harry and William. And it's shown at some upcoming weddings. Like there's this wedding with Hugh Grosvenor, I think they call him. I think he's the Duke of Westminster, like one of the wealthiest royals in the UK. And so he wasn't invited. So Harry and Meghan need to start thinking ahead, even if they're like, I don't want to be friends with my brother. They need to think that, how driven are they for their success? And if even for selfish reasons, they should reconcile. Absolutely. It shouldn't be about that. It should be more, it should be that, I want to reconcile my brother to reconcile with my brother. But even if it's not that, then they should reconcile just in order to, make nice and be held in higher regard, even for their careers, if that makes sense. Do you guys agree with that? Let me read this. I think it's okay. So everybody's speculating, but I wonder, here's what they said. They said that a lot of people knew that the king was kind of leaning into not being well prior. Like a lot of people knew, like in the know, knew that he was not doing as well. And so he went in for what they called, just, maybe their verbiage from his press release was just, okay, it's nothing, just because they were trying to hedge their bets, right? They were trying to say, oh, it's nothing, it's not really a problem, because they suspected something and they didn't want to make an announcement until after the fact. So they did say whatever this was, they found it early. The fact that he wasn't necessarily treated fully in the hospital and he was able to go home is a good sign. But also, I mean, we didn't have to deal with cancer scares with the queen, and she ended up living a really long life, and he's 75 years old. So what's next? Okay. I feel like in the UK, everyone dislikes Harry and Meghan. In the US, people aren't as critical of the pair. I'm an American and somewhere in the middle. I'm from New York City. So the New York City car chase shifted my opinion. I mean, I lived in New York City 4 years, and yeah, that was pretty comical. Yeah, I think we don't really, we're maybe in America a little bit on the fence, but there's a lot of people that just don't like them as much anymore. Honestly, they just don't. I'm going to say that if we're on this subject of do we like Harry and Meghan, I always say this in my lives, like everybody was rooting for Harry. We liked him because he was sort of the bad boy, right? And then all of a sudden he just proved to be kind of not very smart. Like he just kept making these bad decisions. Then what happened, in my opinion, everybody blamed Meghan, and Meghan herself kind of was like, what the heck? Like, why isn't she talking to her dad? Why does she do this? Why does she do that? But I do think that people, because they liked Harry so much, and honestly, he, even in, when they do these polls and stuff, people like to see him. He could do well on his own. So then people tended to blame Meghan more for his faults because he wasn't showing how many decisions he was making independently of her. And then the decisions that he makes and the moves that he makes personally, as much as I'm not crazy about Meghan, although I really did like her on Suits. I'm just going to say that as an aside. And I know a lot of people actually, she wasn't a very good actress. I totally believed her as Rachel Zane and I really liked her. That's my opinion. But I think people tend to point the finger at Meghan so much and make it sound like she's like, awful. And maybe she is. I'm sure like there are things about her where I'm like, oh my gosh. And then them together, I'm like, what the heck are they thinking? But I mean, he grew up as a royal and he should have known some of the things and been able to hedge the bets and sort of guide, certain decisions with his wife. So, people don't tend to blame him as much because they want to blame other people because he's naturally likable. So they point the finger at Meghan and then that makes her look that, oh, she's, all this stuff is bad. Sorry. It's like everyone in my family is, So what do you guys think? I actually think that they're losing their popularity in America. If they were so popular here, they're not super popular. All of their endeavors would have been more successful. They haven't really stepped up to the plate enough with all of the work that they were supposed to do. They haven't done the work and they haven't done it well. They're going to lose probably tens of millions of dollars from Netflix. And many of us just think that they're hanging around all these Paramount brands, which I think that at the end of the day, CBS, which is, I believe, what's running the Super Bowl, is owned by Paramount. And, so some people think they're going to be moving to Paramount. Who knows? But anyhow, they definitely do all this self-serving stuff, but their decisions have been kind of bad and they haven't been working as much. Walter Payton Award for the Man of the Year. That's what they gave Harry to present. Like, why is Prince Harry presenting these awards? Like, he doesn't really even know football. He hasn't really shown that he's a huge football fan. And but he's just making these like public appearances for what? Like why? Like it's crazy. Okay, so let me see what else everybody's saying. Okay, who wants to call the game? Okay, not if his father did not want redhead there. He left in 15 minutes. Yeah, he left in 15 minutes. And so at first, everybody was thinking, I bet the king didn't want him there. Like he's like, hi, bye. You're like, get the heck out of here. But then why? Like he had to get back on an airplane in order to do that presentation. Like he had to be there. So that's what made everybody go, oh, it wasn't that the king was like, hey, I don't want you here. It could have been. But then it implied, since he had to be back there so fast, that he wanted to get back. Because even if the king didn't want him there at that moment, and let's say he was going up to Sandringham and he maybe wanted him there longer term, he could have gone up to where his dad was or something. But apparently he stayed in a hotel, which was also another thing, like he doesn't even have a place to stay. So there's that question. Okay, Chiefs are 8-0 with Taylor Swift in the stadium. I love all the memes about Taylor Swift math. Like, will she make it back in time? Okay, let me see what Donna has to say. Of course he's okay. Still the spoiled brat he always was. Vicious, malicious, jealous loser he's always been. He's spent 4 years whining and lying about Pa, and now he cares. Hello. Yeah, I mean, what's one of the saddest things, in my opinion, about this is, like I said, like we always thought that Harry was like at least, like likable. His dad has done everything. If you look back at pictures, even though he says his dad wasn't affectionate, his dad was very affectionate, loved his sons. And, so you do see that. Again, I was never a huge Prince Charles fan because I was, Team Diana. But at the same time, it's like, Harry is an embarrassment in many ways, in my opinion. And it's sad. I mean, it's just sad. And so, yes, they whine a lot. They're entitled, and I don't like that. Um, Queen Mary jewels. Oh, yes. I love that kind of stuff. I will. I like jewelry. I actually, if you guys ever want some really good jewelry that's not a fortune, Park Lane. I have my Park Lane link. This is one little necklace I have with Park Lane. And then I like this bracelet I have. But the Queen Mary, I love all the royal jewels. So yeah. Okay. So I've always said that Harry just has a lot of trauma. Yes, he's not really narcissistic. Meghan is a bit up in the air for me. At best, she's a bit selfish, naive, and emotionally immature. And it could be all that they're just like, I mean, I remember times in my life, honestly, where I was clueless as to what was going on with my family. You know, I was just like on my own track, doing my own thing. You kind of gain an appreciation. Oh my gosh, my entire family is texting me at the same time. You're just not as mature. So it could be that. And again, I do think people point their fingers a lot at Meghan, and I'm not a huge fan, but I'm also not I'm not one to believe that Harry is just totally a puppet and that she tells him everything to do. Maybe she does, and maybe he does it, but he's a grown man. He can always say, sorry, honey, not doing that. I need to go see my dad and I need to do this. Okay. Okay. Regarding Tom Brady, I will get back to that one. Okay. So Christian, his brother being at the British Awards, and what was the whole deal with Harry acting snobby about having 3 row seats at a movie theater, yet I really don't have the whole picture of that. You mean when Harry was in Jamaica? Was that what you were talking about? Not having the right seats or whatever. His brother obviously wasn't in Jamaica, so you might be talking about the British Awards. I don't know. I don't know about that. I just know that Prince William is the president of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. And I did think it was kind of ironic recently. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Harry wins that Legends in Aviation award, right? Then juxtaposed to this week when Prince William sort of comes out of let's call it family leave, and all of the sudden he's like appearing with Tom Cruise in a photo op at the air ambulance event that he had. So I thought that was interesting, and this is an example of what I'm saying, that Harry needs to kind of try to reconcile and cozy up with his brother. I don't know if William is going to have that kind of tolerance if his dad passes away and there's no reconciliation. And then all of a sudden Harry's like, oh, sorry, never mind. Can we be friends? It's going to be harder. It's going to be harder, in my opinion. Okay. It looks like he'd been crying. Yes. Now there was, and I'll talk about Kate in a second. Now, if we're going back to the pictures of Charles, it is true. It did look like he was crying. Camilla seemed a little scared. I got this point to lose the. Okay. So I noticed that too. There was a picture of the king leaving in his car with Camilla, and his eyes definitely look like, like he was a bit, off, like he looked like he had been crying or something. Okay. Everybody's asking me about Kate. Okay, so Kate right now, nobody really knows what her deal is, except that her kids are on vacation from school, and all of a sudden everybody her and William headed up to the same area where the king is. So they're all on vacation in the same area, which means that she's doing better, but she's still not making an appearance. Again, we're all suspicious as to what it is. Like, what is it? Was it a hysterectomy? Was it something more serious? Because when you say abdominal surgery, that sounds intense. Or was it just, like she had some work done? I'm just saying. I don't know. So Harry Mar okay, so he must have bought the tickets beforehand, and those tickets are high, and we must remember that, meaning the royal family doesn't financially support him, so I would go to the game. Or what I was thinking regarding the game was that if the NFL is having him do a presentation and he's already there, why not stay around, right? Because he was there for this presentation. Of course, don't stay around in the UK after flying 11 hours, but get to Vegas, hang out there for a while, because we know that Harry has a history of being in, let me see, let's look at, I thought I had some slides with him in Vegas. Oh yeah, there we go. Do you see that? So in 2012, he was, kind of the bad boy in Vegas. I don't know if you guys remember that, but yeah. And he was definitely caught with photos romping with others that were also in the same position. So why doesn't he just hang around in Vegas then? Because that seems to be his old turf. So yeah, just bringing that up. To be fair, I think Harry is also a bit emotionally immature. Yeah. Less narcissism and more him being angry at his family because of what happened to his mother. Megan feeds into it though. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And here's the thing about narcissism. Do you ever watch Dr. I think her name's Romani on YouTube? She's so good. People can have narcissistic tendencies without being narcissists, so we throw those terms around a little too freely, and, we're not diagnosing people, obviously. So you can show narcissistic tendencies without being a narcissist. And those narcissistic tendencies can come from ACE, adverse childhood experiences, which totally he had. I don't think they were ever popular in America. I don't think they were very popular either. I think Megan especially, would want to be. Okay. Yeah. So, you know what? I'm totally on the fence. My thing regarding Megan is just, I feel like they're both out there, and I do think that she manipulates him because I think she's smarter than him. That's my opinion. I think she's smarter than Harry, and I think that she probably can manipulate the situation, but he's a grown man who can make his own decisions, and all I'm saying is that people let Harry off the hook a lot. And I guarantee you, because he is naturally likable, if they got divorced or something, I totally feel like, I mean, people in the UK will disagree with me. I feel like there is a way for him back into his family. I do. And I think that I don't think they would take Megan with, I don't know. We'll see. Cause I don't think we're going to see her bringing her kids there for a while. Won't that be attributed to, yes. Okay. If we are talking about his decisions, won't that be attributed to his codependency of Megan? Yes and no. It could be just his codependencies in general, but yeah, they definitely have a codependent relationship, and they've never shown a lot of affection toward their parents. I mean, she's sort of left her dad like high and dry. But okay, so for Megan, I don't think she's crazy or narcissistic, but she wasn't able to adapt to British royal life and is mad at the institution for being what it is. It seems like she has a fantasy idea. Yeah. And I don't know. I would think that if you are going to make a commitment into a family like that, then you better kind of study up on it and know. And then if you're not making an adjustment, then continue to try to make that adjustment. And at least if you would go, let's say you go to America because it's not working out for you. Even the Queen said it's okay for you to stay in acting. Why do you have to not burn the bridges? There's we sometimes we've called it burn the fields, which just sounds a little bit even more dramatic. Why do you need to go there? Like, then go on your own. If you're not adapting, figure out a way to be able to be cordial and to not have to be this, like one of you guys said, this whiny thing where you're just like, they're awful. Nah, 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 nah. We all have to deal with certain family members who annoy us, and parents. They're not the only people in the world that has to sit at the dinner table and go, okay, let's just ignore that and get through the holidays and go back home. That's not what they did. They came out guns a-blazing. And that's where I think it crosses the line into this whole different, like, desperation to have to make the money at all costs, whether we sell our families out, become famous at all costs. No, there was another way. It's not always the black or white. There's a gray area that you could have been in. So that's my opinion regarding that. If everyone was judged how they act in their 20s, I can't even. I'm not going to get into that because how they act in their 20s, we all be in trouble. He seems completely lost. And yes, Meghan takes full advantage of his brokenness, but they're not 20 anymore. Yes, in 2012, what would that make him? I can't even do the math, but he was probably like 30, early 30s, late 20s. You're right. Not so much popular with people, but people were much less critical. That is true because we're royal watchers, but we're not monarchists. Like, we're fascinated by it. We like the royal family. We just wouldn't want to be governed in a situation, although technically they're not really governing, but we like to observe them. We like the idea. We love Diana. We love the whole idea. We were very excited about Meghan, our American princess. We love Grace Kelly. We love all of that. We just don't want to be governed by that. So we were all hoping to have, our cake and eat it too, right? But then what you say, I remember after the Oprah interview, most Americans seem supportive. Yeah, I think they waned though. Most people don't care. That's true. And then after the whole, like, the car chase was like embarrassing. South Park was hilarious and true. Even SNL does things like they are becoming a laughing stock. Everybody wanted them to succeed. Everybody wanted them to succeed with Spotify, with everything. And yet every single time they don't work. Don't think that you are going to get some from me because I gave you gave me jewelry. Oh, well, I don't know. I'll have to find out about that. But she did boost her own name. She's a bad person for that. She was already though in the entertainment business. So that's what you do in the entertainment business. I know, because I've been in the entertainment business my whole life. Not at that level, but I was feeling a bit sorry for Harry last week until I realized he only spent 30 minutes with his dad because he had to be in Vegas the next day. So that is kind of the whole thing that we're talking about, is that what? We were like, yay, Harry, he's heading off to visit his dad. Yay. He's finally made a smart decision. And then wah, 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 like a few minutes later, he gets on a plane. And if it's just that the king didn't want them, then why did he go back so fast? Okay. Harry can't offer any more than the royals can accept. The king wanted less than an hour with his son, and that is all Harry gave. Harry returned to the people who appreciate him. I don't know. I don't know if the king, I'm not sure. I mean, I know he wasn't there long, but is it that the king gave him that, or is it that he wanted to go back? I don't know. There's like conflicting stuff. The king was smiling in the car. We all thought he had tears in his eyes. Okay. They're at Sandringham. Yes. And I believe that that the Wales family is too. Is it on feeding tube? Is that what they are hiding? Kate, we don't know. None of us know. Abdominal surgery means cutting through her abdominal muscles. Right. I don't know how long it takes for the muscles to, well, I did have 2 C-sections, and I'll tell you, 6 weeks. I was up walking around. I was doing gigs with my band in 3 weeks, just saying. But it was tough back then. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple more questions and then we're gonna go on. I was the one that gave him a towel and put him on blast about his actions to it. Okay. All right. I was trying to pull away from saying they are narcissistic. I mean, I do think people use that phrase way too much. So we'll see. Okay. Personality disorder. I mean, feel like Harry, I feel like it's a weird, is it an attachment issue? I don't know. I mean, I have a bunch of adopted kids, and sometimes it's like they don't grasp the whole connectivity thing. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, this was not good, Bunny. I don't know. I don't know. That's totally on her, which is why I think she deserves criticism for her behavior. Megan. So, well, we have a lot. We could go on and on. Most of us have to be put up for family every holiday. It's part of the human condition. That's why we're all in therapy. Put up, yeah. That's my point. It's that it didn't have to be all or nothing. I mean, I'm a negotiator. I'm really good at negotiating and have been all my life. So this is how I look at things. Oh my gosh, you want to go to the extreme. Does it have to be the extreme? There's always a third or fourth or fifth or sixth way, right? It's negotiation 101. Didn't have to be like, we don't want to be senior royals. Megan's depressed. We want a bigger house than this old place. We want to try to make our own money. Fine. And we actually want to go to America, but how about we want to go to America, but we want to have this place. And yes, it sounds like they tried to negotiate, but no, you negotiate by going back several times. When they say no, you continue to go back and let them try to say no again. You just keep at it. But what you don't do, because you're not going to get the best of both worlds, because I think they could have gotten the best of both worlds, you don't go burn the bridges. You don't burn the field. You continue trying to negotiate. So fine, go to America and show them you are serious, but then continue to communicate and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be back at Frogmore, 4 months out of the year, and then we're going to be here. When we're here, if you need us to show up for anything, like have a plan. Create some charities over there in your family, like continue to develop the plan rather than let's beat the crap out of my family and my own personal history. And that's what gets me every single time, because I feel like it was so ill-advised. It was such bad planning. And that's why we're here today. That's why we talk about it, because we're like, what the heck were they thinking? They could have had all of the entertainment stuff and still connected with them. They didn't have to have the royals tell them everything, but they also didn't need to totally diss them in every move that they could. How I was feeling, come on here. Okay. I was supportive of Oprah, but the car chase, if you've been in New York at all, which I lived in Manhattan for years, that was the thing that was like, what? And then Megan was smiling in the backyard, in the back of the car. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to kind of crush through these. I really yes, I think this is, at the heart of all of us. Maybe some of you don't feel like there should be reconciliation, but I think at the heart of everything is that we keep watching because I know I want the happy ending. I want the happy ending. I want Harry and his brother. Think about it. This is all that they have. And they have so many things in common as far as their loss with their parent, with their mother. William could William could use his brother. And I think Harry, if he was willing to listen, could use his brother too. I think it could be a good thing. So I also hope for reconciliation, and I feel that way for DEANNA. I agree. Yeah. So we're talking about the security in Vegas. I'm gonna take off in a second, but yeah. Okay, Harry and Meghan took the nuclear option, but they want money from Charles, the titles, etc. The whining is too much coming from a guy whose goal was to become financially independent at 40. And think about it, when you get to at the end of the day, as Americans, like, we'll give everybody, we understand the process of creating things and trying to become successful, but what we don't deal with and what we don't like is people who are entitled and expect to just get it like that. And that's what they've shown. It's like, well, I'm a prince. I should be able to get $100 million deal and not do anything for it. In my opinion, yes, their Netflix series, Harry and Meghan, was successful, but at what cost? Like, it was, and how many of those can you do? And then I think in a way the book was successful, but then after that, it's like, nothing, So I think, like, I've been thinking about this. I feel like there's so many things Meghan could have done. Like, I would have loved to have seen them kind of go back and study Meghan's connection to the royal family, because apparently, all of us have royal blood. They could have gone back in her family history into the lineage also. Kind of delve a little bit deeper into different cultures, even in the Commonwealth. She could, like, there's so much that they could have done that would have tied into that entertainment piece and that media piece that would have made the royal family even more relevant and more interesting. And yet, it would have required them to push in and be wise rather than going to, like, they had such a great opportunity. Like, nobody else in the world had an opportunity to be able to use their entertainment background, plus the experience that they had with being part of the royal family, and tie it into something extremely unique. But instead, they go to Hollywood trying to do basically what everybody else is doing, riding on the coattails of their fame as royals without showing the depth of who they are as royals. So, I mean, I'm going to kind of leave it at that. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like this. I think there will be a happy ending when William discovers that Harry isn't the enemy. Well, I think it has to go both ways too. I think it would be nice for them to come back together. So anyhow, we've been on here a long time. Okay. The thing the book didn't give me was why William and Harry are on bad terms. It just doesn't make sense. Yes, I understand that brothers fight. Well, at first it was the Oprah interview, and then, probably predating that was them leaving at all, right? And then it got worse and worse and worse, calling out Charlotte, calling out Kate. Again, there's should be like a family code. You kind of keep things, try to keep things private. That has to do with maturity. I like when people are able to have that type of poise. You can trust them with the secret. Like, why do you have to tell all? Well, because it makes you money. So I think that William is just probably at the end of the day sad, but it's expressed as anger. They got in a fight and that was exposed. Harry called William bald. I mean, there were things that were just like, what? So I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I think William really misses his brother. And I think they blame Meghan a lot for it, and probably rightfully so in some ways. But everybody could have tried to adapt, probably. And we'll see what happens in the future. And yes, it is sad and it is tragic. Wait, I'll read that in a second. Okay. Not to mention I did read that about Tom Brady. I'll have to check that out in the news. William told Harry not to marry Meghan because she was a divorcee. Did he forget Camilla is a divorcee? Yeah. So there you go. All right. I'm going to go now. But guys, please do subscribe to Hot for History. This has been fun. I'm going to try to come on more often because I've been a bit AWOL. But there's just been so much going on. And you guys are the best. I will come on again because there's just so much. I really want to talk about, I want to dive a little bit deeper into Prince Harry, especially needing to reconcile with William. And I agree with Bunny that, it's going to take two. But unfortunately, William, will most likely be king, and it could be faster sooner than later, and they're going to need each other. So yeah, so I hope they reconcile, but it's a tough call. So anyhow, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. And yes, I'm going to read about, oh, I figured the Tom Brady comment was a joke. I didn't want to get into it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you guys.